Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Mauthe Farm Virtual Chat. I am Brittany with the Discover Dairy program, and we are so excited that you are joining us today as we get to meet Farmer Katie and, of course, your adorable adopted calves, Anna and Delta Dawn. First, this live chat is part of the Adopt a Cow program. More than 43,000 teachers and 1.7 million students joined the fun for free this year, thanks to our generous supporters like the Dairy Alliance and the Dairy Excellence Foundation. If you'd like to join next year, registration and re-enrollment will open on May 1st. You can go to discoverdairy.com/adopt, and there you can enroll. You can log in and re-enroll starting May 1st, so mark your calendars. Next, today's live event is a chat live on YouTube and Facebook. We're excited to hear from you and hear your questions, and I know Farmer Katie is really excited to answer them. Before we jump over to Farmer Katie today, let's see who's joining us today. So let's jump over to the chat. And one of our first classes that joined us today, we had Mrs. Evans' kindergarten class from Shub Point, Louisiana. So hello and welcome. We're excited to have you. We've got Miss Hardy's fourth grade class from Hammond, Louisiana. We're excited to have you, and I know we're excited to see Delta Dawn as well. We've got some more folks from Mississippi. Miss Dodson's first grade class from Holly Springs. Hello, good afternoon. Let's see, scrolling down a little bit further, we've got St. James Catholic School in Gulfport, Mississippi. Hello. A little bit further down. Oh, we're excited to hear from Anna and Delta Dawn. I know, me too. Don't worry, we'll get to see them real soon. We've got Mrs. Casey's class in Abbeville, Louisiana. Excited to have you guys here. Thank you. And let's see, we've got Hillcrest Elementary from Reston, Louisiana. We've got second graders that are joining us there. Hello, and thank you for joining us. We're so excited to have you. I see many, many more classes joining us. Thank you, thank you. We are so excited to hear from you, and I know Farmer Katie is too. So speaking of Farmer Katie, I'm pleased to introduce you to her. Hey, Farmer Katie, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing good. I'm Farmer Katie here at Mauthe Farms, and we're so excited to welcome you all back to our farm this year.
Awesome. Yay! We're so excited to have you as a host farm again this year. And I know we loved following your adorable heifers this year. Before we get to see those and check in on how they're doing, can you give us a little bit of background on you and your farm and maybe your role on the farm?
Sure. So I am an everyday farmer. We all wear different hats here and kind of the same hat. So I do anything from book work to farm processing. We do everything on farm processing. So none of the milk from our dairy cows leave the farm. So we have a lot. We don't just farm the animals and take care of the animals. We also do the processing and then sell it in the stores. Um, but I am a fourth generation and I have two sons that will be fifth generation dairy farmers if that's what they choose to do. But
Mhm.
we're excited to welcome you all here to the farm to kind of give you a glimpse of Anna and Delta Dawn. And I pride myself in taking very good care of them for y'all and for us. And so they grow up to be healthy mamas to give us milk for our customers.
I love that. I love that you're able to do that full story from farm to table and provide those amazing products, which I'm sure you'll at the end you'll tell us a little bit more about where we can get those. But in the
Yes.
meantime, we are so excited to hear how our girls are doing and check in on them. So, what are they up to? Are they somewhere around you?
They are. I have Delta Dawn is right here by me. I interrupted her eating. She's got a mouthful and she's eating. Yeah, with her
Aw,
friends.
oh my
Yeah. So they
goodness.
just kind of
What
hang
are they
out.
chowing down on?
It's it's corn and soybean meal and some minerals, and
Okay.
we grind it all up, and my nephew and my dad actually we grind all of our feed ourselves, so we buy everything in whole, the whole corn, the
Okay.
whole soybean meal, everything whole, and we grind it up and then mix all the minerals and stuff in and feed it to the cows.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
we do
So
everything.
Delta
Yes.
Dawn is looking beautiful standing here with
Thank
us. I know in our last update, we said she was 275 pounds. How
Oh,
much do you
look,
think
here
she
she is.
weighs now?
She's over 300. I would say she's
Wow.
probably right over 300, and this is actually Anna
Anna.
here. So
Oh,
they're both together. Yeah,
oh, that's
yeah,
perfect.
yeah, yeah. So Anna
Oh
said,
my
"Wait, I want in
goodness.
on the spotlight too." She
Right?
yeah, yeah, but they're both a little over 300. Obviously Anna you can tell is bigger than Bonnie. I mean than
Hmm.
Delta Dawn, but
Hmm.
yeah, so I would say Anna's probably a little more like close to 325, and then Delta Dawn is going to be right at 300.
300.
She's a
That
little
makes
smaller.
sense. Sure,
Yeah.
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 And that makes sense because Anna was 290 pounds at the 6 month update. So that makes sense that she's closer to that 325 pound range. And now, height wise,
Yes.
we had Anna at 45 inches and Delta Dawn at 47 inches, but they look like they're starting to level out. They almost look the same height. So maybe Anna's
They
catching
do.
up to Delta Dawn.
Yes, 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 yes. They do. They're kind of starting to level out, and they will as they grow. They will pretty much probably end up being the same size. And
Oh,
believe it or not, Delta Dawn's mom, she is one of the bigger jerseys that we have.
oh wow.
She's very tall. She's a very powerful cow. And so for Delta Dawn to come out so tiny, it
Hmm.
was surprising.
Huh.
But yeah,
Now, something
yeah.
we're noticing with these two next to each other, it's pretty obvious that one is a lot darker than the other one. Can you just explain why? Because they're both jerseys, right?
Correct. They are both jerseys, and it just goes back to their genetics. Delta Dawn's mom is actually all black as well, and
Hmm.
she was born a lighter color, and now she's gotten darker, and so um Anna here, her mom is actually more of an orangey color. So for her to be, she actually has a little bit of dark
Hmm.
coming up in her, so she could almost turn as dark as Delta Dawn as she grows and gets older. They change so much. Jerseys do sometimes.
Yeah,
So
that's interesting. And that's very true,
yeah,
right? You'll see that change happen in jerseys, but if anyone's seen like a Holstein with that's black and white, I mean, once they've got their spots where they're at, those don't move. So it's interesting that
those don't
jerseys
move,
can
right?
really change. Hmm.
Yes, jerseys change a lot. And it is so crazy to me just how much they can change because
Yeah.
you cannot see it, I cannot see her for a couple of weeks and then all of a sudden I come back and I'm like, "Oh, wait, where'd she go?" And they're like, "She's
Right.
right there." But yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
oh my gosh, look at them. And they are so well
Yeah.
loved. They love hanging out with you guys and hanging out in
Oh,
their
they're
pasture. Now,
loved.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. We had a question from Miss Y Rick. They were curious, what does their typical day look like? I mean, we're hanging out with them in the pasture. Is this a typical day for them?
This is a typical day for them. They hang out here with all of their friends. They'll eat. They may get a drink of water, and then they'll go and munch on some grass, or they just might go and lay in the sun and get them some vitamin D, or
Oh,
go lay in the shade. It just depends. Yeah,
oh my goodness.
very
Now, do you,
relaxed. Very
oh yeah, do you feed them green once a day, twice a day? Do they get any hay or anything like that?
yes. So they get the grain once a day. Um, and I don't know if y'all can see it, but I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Oh,
the grain they
perfect.
get once a day. And so we do. We feed them in the mornings. They get it. And then look, she even wants to eat it out of my hand. Look. Oh, she said no, that's mine.
Apparently, it tastes better when you have it, Farmer Katie.
Right, right. Yeah, and then they have hay as well. We give them free choice hay, and then they get a bucket of grain in the mornings. So, and they fight over the grain, but there's enough there for everybody. They shouldn't have to
Mhm.
fight over it.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah,
Everyone's getting an equal amount. They're
exactly.
hierarchy animals, so they're of course gonna fight it
Yes,
over a little bit and be kind of like typical
yes,
siblings, right? Maybe like someone's got the last piece of dessert or something.
absolutely, absolutely,
Oh my
yes.
goodness.
Some go back for seconds.
Oh, oh man. I love that. We had a
Yeah.
good question from JB. They were curious when Anna, and we can talk about Delta Dawn too, when will they be old enough to make milk on their own?
We will breed them when they turn a year. So around September, they
Okay.
will become bred and they will start growing a baby. And then 9 months after September, they'll have a baby, and that is when they will start producing milk. They do not produce milk until they have their first baby.
Gotcha. So right around 2 years old, then they'll have that first calf, and their calf will start and do the
Yes.
same
Yep.
thing we learned what they did, correct? They'll be in the hutch and then come outside with like
Correct.
these.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
And hopefully I'll get lucky enough and yeah, their babies will be adopt a cow calves for the next classes to come along. So,
oh,
yeah.
that's awesome. Very cool. We had, Farmer Katie, I think we knew this question was going to come, but if you can help clarify why Anna's tag says Bonnie, we would really appreciate that. We had some confused friends that were watching the chat because she did have the name Bonnie when we started with her. So do you mind explaining a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So, it's a funny story. Her mom's name is Barbie.
Barbie.
And so, yes, it starts with a B. And in the registration world here on Mote Farms, in order to keep all the calves straight, so like her mom's name is Barbie. Well, we like to name her with a B.
Hmm.
Well, so originally her name was Anastasia because my dad named her Anastasia. He said, "Oh, I want her to be Anastasia." I said, "Okay." So we named her Anastasia. Well, then I said, "Well, let's just do Anna for short." So we did Anna. Well, then my nephew comes along who helps a lot on the farm, and he'll be a junior next year in high school, and so he's still showing. And Barbie is his calf that he shows, and he says, "I don't want a Anna, I want a Bonnie. Her name is Bonnie." Well, he tags all of our calves, and so he was like, "I'm putting Bonnie." So her registration papers, we compromised, and her name is actually Bonnie Ann.
Uh-huh. Gotcha. So it's changed a
Yeah.
little bit, but regardless, it is the same animal. We're just giving her
Regardless,
a
it's
whole
the
bunch of
same
nicknames.
one. Yes. So she has lots of names.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, we're obviously seeing Anna and Delta Dawn here, but we can see lots of other friends with them. Do you think that
Yes.
all of them, are they about all the same age? How do they all interact with each other?
They are. They're all the same age. They all were born between September and November.
Okay.
And yes, so we raised them all in the hutches right together. So they were raised in individual pens to begin with. Well, then from there, we moved them here to the big pen together. And so they will stay
Gotcha.
together until they have calves. And even in the milking parlor, they'll still, be together. So
Mm-hmm.
they're
Yeah.
friends for
And clearly,
life.
I was gonna say clearly they're friends because they're playing and they're hanging out and
Yes.
and uh and they tend to forget how big they are, so of course they're gonna get a
Oh,
little
yes.
pushy.
Yes, they do. They do.
So we had some folks notice that they've got those tags in their ears. We mentioned it that we saw the name on it said Bonnie, or now it's her name's Anna and Delta Dawn. We were curious, what's the point, what's the purpose of the tag that you use on the farm?
And we have that that we know who they are. It's their identification. On the back of it, we have their birth date. On the front of it is their name, and then the number that's on it is actually the last three numbers of their registration number. So when we
Ah,
start
okay.
looking for registration papers, we can, we know that their number is the last three. That's like their ID number. So,
Gotcha. Well, because I mean,
yeah.
jerseys definitely look a lot alike, except for Delta Dawn, but they all look pretty alike.
Right.
So it makes sense needing a tag so you know who is who. Yeah. Awesome.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
We had a question from Miss Nash. They were wondering, do you have any idea how big they will be when they're going to be considered full grown?
There'll be a couple, probably about 1,500 pounds. And
Wow.
uh so her mom is actually really tall too. Both of their moms are really tall. Um they're I would say probably 5 feet, a
Wow.
little over 5 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're actually really
Yeah.
tall. So
That's That's gonna be big. I can't believe they're gonna get that big yet compared to where they're at now. That's amazing.
Now, yes. And they may go over, because their mom may be 5, 5.5, something like that. But yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got some other questions coming in. Let's see. We've got, oh, how many cows are in the field with Anna? And then maybe do you mind saying how many cows do you have total on your entire farm?
Yeah, sure. So there's 7 in the field here with them, including them. So there's 5 others. And then we're milking about 30 right now. I think we actually have 32 that we're
Okay.
milking, which is a small farm. We don't milk that
Sure.
many. Yeah,
Mhm.
because you have some farms that milk hundreds of cows, but we do
Right.
not. Yeah, and then we have another group of heifers that are right at 2 years old and they're getting ready to calve. And
Okay.
there's like 15 of them. So,
Yeah. Wow. So
yeah.
maybe close to 50 or so, a little over 50 total animals on the farm.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Other questions. Oh, we were curious about their moms. How are their moms doing?
They're doing great. I wish they were close and we could see them, but it's a little warm today, so they're under the shade trees laying down. But they'll come
Aw.
up later this afternoon to milk. Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. We're so glad to hear that they're doing well
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
living the good life on your farm. Like you said, they're just hanging out under the trees. They only have to go to work twice a day for a couple of minutes and then they get to go relax and hang out
That's
again,
right.
which is really cool. Can
Yes.
can you
Yes.
talk a little bit more about that milking process? Just kind of help us
Yes.
understand what an adult cow's life looks like on your farm.
Yep, sure. So she wakes up at 3 o'clock every morning and she goes, we milk her and she has to go to the barn to get milked. She comes in, she milks. It takes us about 15 minutes start to finish, and she gets to eat corn while she's in the barn. And then when she's finished, she goes out the barn and she drinks her water immediately because cows, it is very important for them to have water in order to produce milk. So they'll start drinking a
Gotcha.
lot of water immediately, to where they can produce milk for the next milking. And it's, of course, the nutrition as well, but water is very, very important. Um,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, so then they'll go out to pasture, they'll graze a little bit, they'll drink their water, hang out under the trees, and then they get up at 3 o'clock the next time that afternoon, and we'll milk them. And then same routine again. 15 minutes in the barn, they get their corn, they go drink their milk, their water, and then we actually green chop ryegrass for them.
Mhm.
Um, so our helper, he goes and green chops the grass. So he basically just cuts it and it goes in a wagon. And then we pull the wagon in the field. So as soon as they're finished milking, they run out of the barn because they know that grass is waiting. And so then we have to, yeah, we hold them all until they can all go at the same time. Because how fair would that be if we let one go and the rest are still waiting to be milked?
Oh
So
my goodness.
yeah, it's pretty funny. So, yeah.
Oh, they know their routine. Cows love
They
their
know their
routine.
routine. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
that's great. Very cool. Well, it sounds like
Yeah.
they're definitely living the
Yep.
life on
Yep.
your farm, and we're excited that Anna
They
and Delta
are.
Dawn will get to experience that someday too.
Yes, yes,
Awesome.
absolutely. Yep, they're back to eating. See, that's all they do. They eat, they drink, they lay down, they sleep.
They've got it easy.
The
Let's
life of
see.
a teenager.
Right. Exactly. They're hanging out in their room, which is the pasture, which is
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
We have an interesting question. I actually don't know the answer to this, and maybe you don't either. And if we don't, maybe we'll have to ask Google. They were curious, does their tongue grow as they grow? They said they read something before that a cow's tongue is 12 inches long, which I know it's a very large muscle in their body, but does it grow as they grow? Do you know from our Katie?
I don't know that question, but that is very interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to look that one up. Maybe someone on the
Yeah.
chat here can check it out, see if you can find any answers to that. That's interesting. We've never been asked that
Yeah.
question before. I would
I know.
assume it would grow just like every other muscle in their body grows with
Right.
them, but
Right.
yeah, it'd be good to double check that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's
It's very
see.
rough.
Oh,
You know that.
right. We were curious from Miss Dickens and a few others have asked about this. How long do cows live? Is there an average lifespan of a cow?
I 10, 15 years. Yeah. Um, here and it's yeah, I mean on our farm, when you're born here, you die here.
Yeah.
We don't ship any out or some farms are different, but yeah. And we had actually one of the kids show cows is she's 13. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah. I'm just
That's
trying to think.
amazing.
Yeah, like my brain is like really thinking. Yeah, yeah. They can probably live till 20. But yeah, she is 13 and she's doing really well. You'd never know she was 13. So
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah.
So if she's 13, and we haven't talked about this yet, but a cow will have on average about one calf a year. So that means she's probably had close to 10 or 11 calves if she's 13 and
Yes,
has one every year. Wow.
yes, yes.
That is
Yep.
a good cow. That is a very reliable cow and definitely
She
good for your
has
herd.
been great. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, she has been great. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Mhm.
Let's see. We had some folks curious. Is it true that when cows lay down, it's because they're predicting it's going to rain? I've heard that before. Any idea?
I have heard that before, and yes, they do lay down when a storm is coming. And now that doesn't necessarily mean every time they lay down because they rest. We actually have two of them over here laying in the hay bale. They decided to use that as
Oh.
their bed. But yeah, they do though. If we have a rain coming, a lot of times they will go and bed down somewhere, and they get still if it's going to be some bad weather and stuff like that.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Nope. That makes sense. Of course, just like us, right? We're gonna lay down and sleep, at any every day.
Yes.
But yeah, they'll definitely hunker down. They know when they can feel it in the air that they'll go find a safe space. Now, that's actually a great point. What
Absolutely.
what do you do as a farmer to help protect your animals when bad weather is coming, right? You guys are in an area that can get hit with some pretty hard storms. So what do you do to help protect them in predicted bad weather?
Yeah, so here in Mississippi, we just, make sure they're in the pasture and pray and hope for the best. And the fences, as soon as the storm is over, we make sure fences are good, make sure there's no trees on the fences,
Hmm.
make sure everybody is accounted for. And
Sure.
yeah, plus in the field, actually in a barn, and so they're able to kind of escape dangers, so to speak,
Right.
get out from underneath the trees. And they
Hmm.
will. They'll move like when the storm is coming. I'll never forget during Hurricane Katrina, which was the bad hurricane that we had here. They
Yeah.
actually paced back and forth. Yeah, but I mean
Wow.
but after that
Huh.
they settled down and they were good. Yeah, so
Interesting.
they're
Yeah, they
interesting
do.
creatures. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, being on a in a pasture can almost be safer, can almost be safer than a barn because a barn can collapse, but in a pasture they can try and
Right.
find safe spots and they know what's right. And of course, like you
Yes.
said, you are checking on them as soon as the storm is over and making sure everyone's accounted for. So awesome. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing that.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. We have some more questions here. We'll try to wrap up on a couple more. Oh, this is a good one from Miss Scheidler. They were curious, how do you know when a cow is sick? And maybe when you do see that they're sick, how do you help them feel better?
So, pretty much their ears tell you a lot. Their ears are perky, their noses are
Ooh,
infection, like a fever or whatever.
gotcha.
Their ears will get kind of droopy, their eyes, just like us, our
Mhm.
eyes get droopy and we just look sick. So I'm a mother and I get the motherly instinct of, oh, she does not look like she's feeling good. Let me check her out, you know. They
Gotcha.
don't eat. A lot of times they'll come off a feed, which when we're sick, we normally don't eat a whole lot. So yeah, they'll lay down for long periods of time and won't get up and just kind of be weak.
Hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. So you can kind of tell, right? I mean, they're like your kids in a sense that you see them
Yes.
every day, you're watching after them every day. You can feel
Yep.
their ears are cold. You can tell that they're just not moving around as much. Now what do you do then, if they aren't feeling well? What can you as a farmer help do to help them feel better? Do they get medicine like we do if we're not feeling well?
They do. Yep, we do. We give them medicine if they're not feeling well, and they may get a shot, which most kids don't like shots. But yeah, they can either get some boluses, which is like really big pills, or we give them a shot. And
hmm hmm
so yep.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, it's not.
sometimes will give them something in their feed to help too.
Oh, true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're not like people where you can say, "Okay, it's time to take your medicine." They don't know how to
Right.
listen. So, yeah,
Right,
you
right,
have to
right.
make sure you can
Yes.
help them. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. They depend on us. We are their caregivers.
hmm
Yes.
hmm
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Farmer Katie, this has been so much fun, and you all that have joined us today, you guys have been asking some really great questions. Thank you so
They
much
are great.
for sharing. We're gonna start to wrap up, and Farmer Katie, you shared a lot of great tips and a lot of great things you do as a farmer, and I mean, quite honestly, between taking care of the animals and also processing all of your own milk into all sorts of goodies. That sounds like a full day. So I'm curious, what's your why? I mean, I'm sure your life and your day and weeks are busy and maybe a little hectic, but I'm sure there's a lot of good. So what's your why behind
Yes.
doing this every day?
I have always said I mean, I grew up in it. I can give kudos to my mom and dad. They made it fun for us. They never made it feel like a job.
Oh.
And so I just had a passion for it. Sorry if you can hear the helicopter flying
Nope, we can't hear it actually.
Okay, good. Because he's kind of loud. But yeah, so it's always been a passion of mine. I've always loved the animals. I've always felt like, they depended on us to care for them. And it's in my blood, I guess. 4 generations and we love it. So,
Oh, that's
yeah.
amazing. I love
Right.
that.
And I
We
think
really, yeah.
Yeah, I think too, for me, when we started processing, it was also the joy of seeing those little kids come up to the table and wanting the milk and loving the milk and saying, like that was my reward because we always went to the market on Saturday. We still do in Covington, Louisiana at the farmers market. And so when you go, you actually see those customers that drink the milk and you're like, this is
Right.
my reward at the end of the week because I can give them something that they love.
Right.
So,
Wow. Oh, I
yeah.
love that. I love that I mean, you and your family are literally feeding your community and feeding the people around you with the nutritious and delicious dairy products that you guys are providing with these absolutely adorable heifers. They are all so cute and so friendly, and just
Yeah.
hanging out with you today. So, Farmer Katie, thank you so much for your time
Thank
today,
you.
for being in this program, for sharing your animals with us, and truly for having a passion for cows because without you producing this amazing milk with your girls, we would not get to eat our ice cream and our cheese and our yogurt and all of our good stuff. So we are very thankful for all of your hard work for sure. Um, Farmer Katie, is
Yes.
there anything else that you wanted to share before we tune off today?
I think that was it. Y'all just make sure you sign up next year because I love it. I mean, this is such a passion for me. I love when the kids are able to come and visit the farm and actually see their adopted cow calves. We've had some farm tours and so yeah, and we're just a really small farm family. So if we've missed a message or if we didn't get back to you, it was because we might have had like a hiccup or weather was crazy, the farm was crazy, we might have had a breakdown, there's no telling. there's always things that are happening. So reach out to
Right?
us again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And before we completely jump off today, you mentioned it, but we've had a lot of people asking. They were curious, where are some common places that they could get some of your products, and what are some things that you make?
Okay, so we bottle whole milk and chocolate milk,
Okay.
heavy cream. We sell it at the Covington Farmers Market in Covington, Louisiana on Saturday mornings from 8 to 12. We
Okay.
deliver to Aquista Pace in Covington. We also make a Creole cream cheese, it's like what cottage cheese is now. It's just a long time ago. That is what cottage cheese really was the Creole cream cheese with the cream poured on top of it. You can eat it just like cottage cheese. Um,
Oh,
yeah, you can get
that's
that from
cool.
Rouse's. You can get it from Peroni's. They do ship. Rouse's ships, Langenstein ships. I'm not sure about Aquista Pace, but yeah. So it's a Creole cream
That's cool.
cheese. You can make ice cream out of it. Yeah, yeah.
Man,
So
that sounds
who do
good.
ice cream in Covington? They use the milk to make their cream in Covington. And do. Um, so
That's awesome.
yeah,
Oh,
Creole
that
cream
sounds so
cheese,
delicious.
cheesecake. We do cheesecakes.
Oh,
Yes,
I do know that. You have the milk, you have like the milk lady cheesecakes. Is that right? Am I
yes,
thinking of the right thing?
yes, yes. That's right. Yes. Yep.
Hmm. I've heard good things about those. I really wish
Yeah,
I
they're
could have found them
delicious.
when I was down
I
down towards your area.
know. I know. Yeah, yeah,
I was too far away. But if
yeah.
anyone lives near those areas that Farmer Katie was sharing, please make sure to check out and see if you can find their products, support them. And, if you are buying those products, those products are being made from the milk from the moms of your adopted cows. And someday when they're old enough and
That's
they're 2 years
right.
old and they'll have their first calf, they will then also be part of that milking herd, producing that nutritious, delicious milk. So it's exciting that someday they'll get to join that experience on your farm too. Farmer Katie, one more time, thank you so much for sharing these beautiful girls with us. They've been a lot of fun getting to hang out with today. And thank you all for joining the program and caring about agriculture in the community and in your classroom. Learning where your food comes from is so important. It doesn't come from the grocery store. It comes from hardworking, dedicated farmers, just like Farmer Katie. So thank you so much for including this program in your class. And we are excited and hope to see you in the program next year. Alrighty, take care,
Yes.
everybody. Talk to you later.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.